Hi everyone, today we are starting this lesson, Animal Kingdom. I remind you, we've been learning all the kingdoms: Monera Kingdom, Protist Kingdom, Fungi Kingdom, Plant Kingdom, and the last one, and more complex, obviously. We've been learning from the simplest ones to the complex ones, okay? And this is the Animal Kingdom, okay? In your books, I'm going to give you one lesson, okay? But in your books, this is as 3 lessons, okay? We are going to start with the classification. Classification of Animal Kingdom is in the lessons in units 6 and 7, okay? In 6 appear the vertebrates, okay? And in unit 7 appear invertebrates. And then in unit 8, we will learn the vital functions in every phylum of animals. So we start. As you know, we classify, okay, the living things in kingdoms, and in every single kingdom we classify that living things in phylums, okay? A kingdom, which is Animal Kingdom, is made of several phylums: phylum Porifera, Cnidarians, Platyrmines, and phylum Vertebrates. Take into account this. Invertebrates are not a phylum, okay? But vertebrates are a phylum, okay? In invertebrates, we have these several phylums, and then we have another phylum, which is called vertebrates, okay? Each phylum is divided into classes. Some of them, we are not going to learn the classes of the phylum, okay? Because it's really complicated. But, for example, if we go to the phylum of echinoderms, we can see that it's divided in the class sea urchins and the class starfishes. You know what is a sea urchin and what is a starfish, obviously, I hope. And classes also can be divided into orders, okay? And orders can be divided into families. And families can be divided into genus, and genus can be divided into species, finally species, okay? But we are not going to see here the genus and the families, okay? We are going to see this and some species, okay? So, if we go to phylum arthropods, okay, that is not the most complex, but the one that has more number of animals. So we can see that there are 4 classes, and if we go to the class insects, which is the more abundant, okay, we can see that class insects is divided into a lot of orders. In your books, okay, you have the Latin name for these orders. I don't want you to know the Latin name, okay, the Latin name, because it's really complicated for you. You are Spanish, you are studying English, and if you are going to study Latin, it's going to be quite difficult. So I have written the name in English, okay? So let's start. What I want you to do is to do this, okay? It's not necessary you do it in a scheme, in an outline like this, okay? But you have to do in order, okay? And we are going to study the physical characteristics, okay, of each group, and you have to look for pictures, okay? You have pictures in your book, obviously, and if you want, you can also look for pictures in the internet, because in the exam, maybe I can put you a picture, okay? It could be a kind of of question. It's maybe, for example, I can ask you for a characteristic, and you have to tell me the phylum or the class. Or I can put you a picture, and you have to tell me which class or which phylum does the animal in the picture belong to. So, phylum Porifera, the less complex one. Phylum Porifera are sponges, as a SpongeBob, as you know. So, what's their characteristics? They are animals. They can't move. Okay. And a sponge is an animal with their body walls. Okay. And if we take a look inside, we can notice that it's made of little tubes or channels. Okay, it's like channels. It has a sponge texture. Okay, sponges, bath sponges, now they are synthetic, but they were made of sponges. Okay, of real sponges. They have a wall. Okay, their body is made of a wall. In this, an atrium, okay, this is called the atrium, and here we have the osculum. The atrium, and the body wall. Body wall. Okay. They are animals, okay? They look like plants, but they are animals. Why? Because they don't perform photosynthesis, and they don't move, okay? They don't move from a place to another place, but they have cells that can move, because the cells that are here in these tubes, okay? If this is a tube, okay, this is outside and this is inside, okay, and this is the tube. Here there's a lot of cells that they have cilia. Cilia are just like flagellum, okay? You remember from the lesson of the cells. These are cilia. If you don't remember this name, just tell me that they have flagellum. These cells have flagellum, and what they do is move in the water. These flagellums move the water from the outside to the inside, okay, to the atrium, and then the water comes out through the osculum. So they feed by filtrating that water. They move the water from the outside to the inside, and when there are nutrients in the water, they take the water, pass from the outside to the inside, okay, water, and they take the nutrients for feeding. Okay? So that's what you need to know about porifera. They are sponges, and this is their body shape, or their body characteristics. Okay, now we are moving to cnidarians. Cnidarians are, okay, polyps and jellyfish. Everybody knows what is a jellyfish, but polyp maybe not. Okay, a jellyfish is an animal made of an umbrella and tentacles. This is called the umbrella, okay, because it's like an umbrella. and these are the tentacles. Okay, and they have, in this case, remember that they feed directly, they take directly the nutrients, okay? But this one, they have here a mouth and a gastric cavity. Gastric cavity, okay? They can hunt, okay, or they can predate some animals. They eat them, okay, they eat them, they take the nutrients and then they expulse them. They are really simple animals, okay? They use this as mouth and anus. They take a little, imagine a little fish, okay? They take it, they digest the little fish, they take the nutrients to their cells, and then they expulse the rest of the fish, okay? In the case of polyps, it's just the same, but polyps live, jellyfish, the difference, okay? About cnidarians, you have to write this. They have the body, the tentacles, and a gastric cavity, okay? That's with a hole that its functions is the same, is for mouth and anus, okay? And the difference between jellyfish and polyps is that polyps don't move freely, okay? They are just the same, but they don't move freely. They are fixed to the rock or to an skeleton. They can form an skeleton, and this is the best example for these ones are corals. Yep, corals. Okay. When you look for a coral, you can, in the sea, you can think that this may be a plant, okay, but it's not a plant. They are really beautiful. They look like they have branches, okay, but they are not plants. They don't perform photosynthesis, okay. They eat another animals, and their tentacles can move, okay. Plants in general don't move. So difference between polyps and jellyfish, you can make drawings, obviously. Polyps and fishes, polyps are sessile, okay. Sessile is that don't move. Sessile animals is that they don't have displacement. They don't displace from a place to another. This don't move is. Am I moving? Yeah, I'm moving my arms, but I'm not displacing. Okay, so this the polyps can move their tentacles, but they don't displace. Okay, and they are sessile. Okay, and jellyfish can displace, or they are free living. Okay, free living animals. After this one, we have the phylum Platyhelminths. Okay, Platyhelminths are worms, but they are plain worms. Okay, plain. That's the characteristic. They are plain, and we have they are the planarians. Planarians live freely. It's difficult to draw, but well, planarians and tapeworms. The characteristic of platyhelminths is that they are plain. Remember, platyplain, okay? They are plain worms. Planarians live freely, okay? They live freely, and they have a shape more or less like this. Wepa. Okay? They have a mouth at the downside of their body, okay? At the downside of their body, they have a mouth and they have an intestine. But this happen in this way happens as the mouth is not up, it's okay? It's in the downside, on the downside. They have an intestine. And they haven't got anus, okay? It happens just the same as with jellyfishes. And they have like eyes, but they can see. They detect light or shade, okay? Light and shade, but they can see. These are planarians, and they live freely in the water, and they, okay? And then we have the tapeworms. Tapeworms, okay, are a plain worms. Is the Tenia, okay? Tenia is a horrible worm that everybody's afraid of, okay? Which have a species of head, and then it's a plain worm, really long. It can be 7 meters long, okay? Which is parasitic. This is the Tenia. This is the planarian, and this is a tapeworm called Tenia. They have a head with hooks, okay? And what they do is that when you feed off the eggs, accidentally, okay, they are going to live in your intestine. They, with the hooks, they attach to your intestine, okay, and they will feed off your not your nutrients, the nutrients you eat, okay. Then they can reproduce, and the eggs are going to get away with your feces, okay? When you make poo, the eggs go away, and maybe you are thinking, okay, but the eggs are going away by the toilet. Yeah, but for example, if this happens in a wolf, imagine, or a sheep or a cow has this parasite, the Tenia, what is going to happen? I'm going to explain quickly, okay? Platyhelminths, plain worms. Planarians, they live freely. Tapeworms, they are parasitic, okay? And those are the characteristics. And now, the life cycle of planarians, and also for these ones, okay? For tapeworms and for nematodes, okay? Nematodes, I'm going to tell you nematodes now. Nematodes are are worms, okay? And they usually are parasitic worms. They have mouth and anus, okay? And they are the parasitic worms, the intestine worms, okay? We have two kinds of intestine worms, Tenias and nematodes. I'm going to tell you now the life cycle, okay, living cycle of tapeworms and nematodes. What is going to happen with this? We have a cow. Oh, horrible cow. Okay, so this cow is feeding off the grass, or maybe feeding off a lettuce, or maybe it can go to a crop. Okay, imagine the cow enters into a crop and the cow makes poo. Poo, 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 poo. The cow has a tenia, okay? The cow has a tinea in its intestine, okay, or her intestine. So when the cow makes poo, okay, when the eggs of this tinea are going to fall down with feces, okay, and here are the eggs. Now you are going to clean this. Maybe the eggs can be spread, okay? They can be spread, and here we have a lettuce. Woo! So if you take this lettuce, you don't know that the eggs are there. When you eat this lettuce, you are going to eat the eggs, and when you eat the eggs, a new tapeworm or new nematodes are going to develop in your intestine, okay? So it's highly recommended to wash the fruit and vegetable before eating them, okay? And then the cycle completes. When you poo, if you poo in the toilet, there won't be any problem. But if you poo in the country, for example, maybe you poo here, and a cow is going to eat the eggs of your parasites. So the cycle closes. Okay, so we continue with the next phylum, which are annelids, okay? I'm going to erase this. Annelids, as its name says, are the worms which body is made of rings. Rings, because it's like in Spanish, anelid, anillo, okay? Es un cuerpo hecho de anillos. Anillos, annelids, rings. Those rings, more or less, each one of those rings has the same organs repeated, okay? For I'm going to give you an example, okay? The earthworms. Earthworms, okay, are made of rings. You can see it. So the difference between these worms, these ones, and these ones is that platyhelminths are flat worms or plain. Nematodes are cylindrical, okay? And annelids are made of rings. And in the case of annelids, I want you to know that the rings, if I draw here, imagine this is a worm, an earthworm, okay? I'm not going to draw it till the end, okay? Here is mouth. They have anus, okay? They have an anus. From these ones, here, from platyhelminths, cnidarians, and porifera, there won't be an anus, okay? There won't be only a mouth. But from in nematodes and annelids, anus appear, okay? Mouth and anus. And also in these ones, obviously. There will be a mouth with a digestive tube, okay? Digestive tube as is like the intestine, okay? But in each one of these segments, okay, in each one, there will appear the excretory system, and also breathing systems, okay, the respiratory systems are repeated. Also, they have a little brain here and they have nerves with little brains in the body. Okay, more or less every single organ is repeated in every single segment except for the digestive tube. Okay, in the case of annelids, because they are made of rings. Characteristic of annelids, they are made of rings. And in those rings, most organs are repeated, unless the digestive tube. Now, marine worms are the ones which live in the sea, and they have a lot of hairs for moving. Okay, they have hairs here. If you take a look on your books, you can check it. Some of them, okay, living inside tubes, just like a tube. And here is living the annelid, okay, and they throw away some, like, some hairs for feeding. This is not necessary, you know, but if you want, you can look for it. But the marine worms have a lot of long hairs for moving. Okay. In the case of earthworms, okay, they have hairs, but you cannot see. But if you take a look in a microscope, okay, through a microscope, you could see that earthworms have hairs, really tiny, really small hairs. Okay, we can see these ones only in a microscope. Okay, these ones, big hairs for moving. Earthworms have short hairs. Okay, really small hairs for moving. They are like, if your body is covered by hair, okay, they are moving, and you can move. Okay, it's like and the last class are leeches. Leeches are sanguijuelas. Okay, they also have little hairs for moving, but they really move with the sucker. Okay, they have a sucker in the tail and another sucker in the mouth. Okay, these ones, leeches, feed off blood with the and they move like, I hope you ever seen a leech. Okay, so they have the tail sucker, okay, and they have an oral sucker. So how do they move? They with the suckers they move like chuk, chuk, chuk. Okay. Okay, so this is all for annelids. Very big hairs, really short hairs, and they even have no hairs. Okay, and they have suckers, a oral sucker and a tail suckers. And now we are moving to the phylum mollusk. Okay, in order you have a mental idea, we have three classes: gastropods, bivalves, and cephalopods. Gastropods, an example, snails. Bivalves are an example, clams. And cephalopods, squid or octopus. Now, mollusks are the characteristics of all mollusks is that they have their body is made of a mantle. Okay, if we take a snail, the body is, this is without the shell. Okay, it's a mantle. It's like a thick skin. The mantle, they have a mantle which is a thick skin that protect the internal organs. It's a thick skin. And if you take a look of a squeeze, okay, when you eat a squeeze, you are eating that mantle, that thick skin, and it's really thick, okay? And inside that are the organs. So they have two characteristics. The mantle, mollusk. They have the mantle, and here. And they have a shell. They have a shell. And maybe you are thinking, do cephalopods have a shell? Yes, they do. Okay, we have the gastropods, which are, gastro is stomach, and pods are feet. So the ones which their feet are on the stomach are the snails. Okay, an example of gastropod is the snail. This is for you for remember, okay? When I tell you that their feet is the stomach of the snail, okay? Gastro, stomach, gastroenteritis, okay? When you have a stomach ache, gastropods, okay? Then we have the bivalves. I don't know if it's pronounced bivalves. Bivalves. Yes, it's bivalves. They are clams, okay? And oysters, clams, oysters, mussels, mussels. So they have two valves. They have. It's horrible, this one. One valve is like a shell. The gastropods have a shell, obviously, and these ones, bivalves, have a shell made of two valves. These are called valves. The shell is made of two valves, and here is the animal with its mantle and inside the organs. And last one are cephalopods. Cephalopods, okay, the ones that we know, have an internal shell. If you look for the shell, they are like this. Oh, cephalopods, pods, feet, cephalon, head. So they have their feet on the head. This is the mantle, okay? And inside the mantle, they have a shell, internal shell. These ones have internal shell. It's like the bone. They have a bone inside. You can look for it in the internet. You never see it because when we eat these ones, when we prepare for a meal, previously we take out that shell. Okay, so the difference: feet on the stomach, the shell is made of two valves, feet on the head, and the shell is internal. Some cephalopods have an external shell, as for example Nautilus. Nautilus is like well, these ones which are fossils. Oh, and today my head is not working well. Nautilus is just like a squeeze, okay, but it lives inside the shell. But okay, forget cephalopods in general. They have an internal shell. Then we have the arthropods. Okay, now pods, feet, articulación in Spanish, joint in English. Their pods have joints. They are articulated pods. Okay. This is the group which have more number of animals. Okay, and we have 4 classes: myriapods, arachnids, crustaceans, and insects. Myriapods are the centipedes, okay? Los cien pies. Their body is divided into segments, okay? And they have a head, with a lot of feet, okay? But these feet are articulated, okay? They are articulated. They haven't got they have articulated feet, and those feet are not 100, obviously. They have between 13 and 30, and between 13 and 30 pairs, okay? Another thing, arthropods, the characteristic is that they have articulated feet, okay, and they have a external skeleton, okay. The body of arthropods is hard, okay, it's hard because they haven't got an internal skeleton, they have an external skeleton. External. Arthropods. Articulated feet and external skeleton. And then myriapods, they have more than 13 feet. Myriapods. Arachnids. Okay, arachnids. Arachnids are made of two segments, which is the abdomen and the head. This is called cephalothorax. Okay, abdomen and cephalothorax. They have 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 feet. Here, arachnids have a cephalothorax because you know that some insects have head, thorax, and abdomen. Okay, 3 segments: head, thorax, and abdomen. But in the case of arachnids, they have head, they have the abdomen, okay, and the cephalothorax. Cephalothorax. And 8 legs. They have 8. Which ones are arachnids? Spiders, scorpions, and ticks. Ticks are garrapatas. Y garrapata es un tipo de ácaro, ¿vale? Los ácaros son arácnidos. Tienen también cefalotórax, abdomen y 8 patas. This is for arachnids. Now, crustaceans. Crustaceans have also cephalothorax and abdomen. Okay, I'm going to draw a crustacean. This is a prawn, okay? A prawn. And they have cephalothorax and abdomen. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 legs. The body is divided in cephalothorax, and abdomen. Okay? This is not necessary you learn by heart, okay? You just think on the animal. Crustaceans are prawns, king prawns, shrimps, crabs, and maybe you are thinking crabs only have this cephalothorax. No, they have an abdomen, but it's just behind. It's like if this one folds this abdomen, it's going to be there, okay, and it's going to be behind. If you take a look of a crab, just on the downside of the crab, imagine this is the downside of the crab, okay? Here would be the mouth, the ears would be there, and here they have the abdomen here, okay? It's folded down of it. So sometimes you have problems because you mistake crustaceans and mollusks, okay? Mollusks have shell and they have mollusks have shell and the mantle, okay? And arthropods, crustaceans are arthropods. They have an external skeleton, which is not a shell, okay? And remember in Spanish, crustáceo crujiente. El crustáceo crujiente es el restaurante del señor cangrejo. Así que los crustáceos son los cangrejos, gambas y todos esos, ¿vale? Now, last one, insects. Insects are the ones who have, I'm going to, a butterfly, okay? Or a fly. Insects have head, thorax, and abdomen, okay? In their thorax, they have 6 legs, okay, and they have thorax, abdomen, and head. And there's a lot of orders of insects. We have you have here in the book you have the Latin names. Oh, I told you, but it's not necessary you learn that. Earwigs, which are tijeretas, they have this shape with tijeretas, okay? Beetles, escarabajos, ladybugs, okay? Grasshoppers. In the case of grasshoppers, these 2 legs are just like this. Butterflies with big wings. Flies and mosquitoes which are the ones that have 2 pair of wings, 1 pair of wings, okay? This is a fly with a pair of wings. Flies and mosquitoes have a pair of wings. And the difference between flies and mosquitoes and bees and wasps, okay, we have an order which is ants, bees, and wasps. They are more or less the same. But the difference is that these ones, bees and wasps, and the flying ants have two pair of wings. Okay? Flies and mosquitoes, ants, bees, and wasps. Then we have the dragonflies, and the last ones are cicadas. And this is all about insects. Okay? I only want you to recognize this. And there are some flies which look like wasps. Okay? They are yellow and black. Okay? They are yellow and black and look like wasp, but they are not wasps. They are flies. Okay? Because they have only one pair of wings, and they don't bite as these ones do. They look like them for scaring the predators. And now the last phylum are echinoderms. Echinoderms are characterized because they have ambulacral feet. Okay, I'm going to write it here. Ambulacral feet. Okay, and what's that? We have two classes, sea urchins and starfishes. Well, there are more classes, okay, but we are sea urchins and starfishes. If we take a look at a sea urchin or a starfish, we can notice that, imagine this is a starfish, but not on the upper side, okay? In the down side of the starfish, or the downside of the sea urchin, here they have those ambulacral feet. It's difficult to draw here, okay? But here, the starfish also have these ambulacral feet. They move in order that the starfish or the sea urchin can move, okay? It's like a lot of little feet that moves and it goes moving, the ambulacral feet. And so this is all about echinoderms. They have these ambulacral feet. They have mouth and anus, okay? In this case, the mouth is here and the anus is here. And in the case of a starfish, the mouth is on the down side, and at the upper side they have the anus. So this is all about invertebrates. Then we have to study the phylum of vertebrates.